So we are at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, December 12th. It's the town center. 11th, I'm the 11th. I'm not doing tomorrow already. Okay. And it's the town center library building committee meeting, and we do have a quorum with Mike, Amy, and myself. So far, Adam and Matt are not present. Duncan was going to log in, Amy, he had sent an email to me, so I know he's coming.
Yeah.
Do you want to, I don't have an agenda.
I have an agenda up. So the first item on our agenda was update on grant application status.
Yeah.
Which I think was,
I can update you.
okay,
The grant was denied.
not surprising.
That's the update.
Okay. Moving right on.
Next item.
Update from November 4th select board meeting to consider our request to hire a project manager for the town center.
And Adam was gonna update us on that, because he was a select board member, he was the one representing our committee that was present.
Mhm.
My understanding is that we were moving to an RFP for that.
Okay.
But Mike thought it was different, so
I haven't heard anything from quite some time. Josh put out a copy of the RFP that you did for the library one.
but that's
And
not.
that wasn't, it didn't, well, you didn't hire the person that we want for this.
Right, yeah, that was.
So then
Jay,
we
that was
need something
Jay.
different than that, and I don't
He's
know
an
if any.
owner's rep. Jay is an owner's rep. We want an owner's
the
project manager.
Yes,
Duncan might be able to update us
Okay.
on that when he logs in.
yeah,
Because he's been doing the RFPs for the town on other projects.
yeah.
So I think it will be key.
So I don't know if it's moved beyond that point. I haven't heard anything, but
And just so that you ladies were present, the owner's project manager is somebody we had, somebody come in, do a presentation to us about what it would include. Because the previous bond vote failed, we are taking a different approach. We found that the previous committee looked at a larger vision and what's the big dreams and what does everybody want versus what can we do that the town can afford and would pass. So we're taking a different approach. So we felt a project manager could come in and help us do, there was a couple of key things. Amy, do you mind bringing up the October 9th meeting minutes and sharing screen with that? Because the October 9th meeting minutes has what that project manager was talking about for us and what would be included in what we're looking to have them do. And there was a phase 1, phase 2, and a phase 3 of that. Phase 1 was more the preliminary planning process. Phase 2 was construction, and phase 3 was, now this is off my memory, so I'm like, if you don't mind sharing, that would be great.
Or less.
So we'll just look at that for a minute, so we can explain to you where we're at. And so what we did as a committee is we voted to go to the select board and make the recommendation or the request that they put out an RFP for us to be able to hire an owner's project manager, somebody who has the guidance and the history and knows what we need. There we go. So if we're looking under, process, it's 1 through the Camel's Hump presentation and designs. There was 4 steps to the process. I'm sorry, I had 3. They'd look at a deferred maintenance study. They'd address more than on need, review the budget, and the biggest bang for the buck is what they were gonna analyze. Menu options that allowed us to either proceed and say, okay, we want to price out the following menu options versus we're gonna set these aside and not do those. And the last part is a capital reserve study to know how much funding we needed and possibly different approaches. Like, are we using just capital reserves? Are we going for a bond vote? Are we phasing it like over years? Are we going to do some things in the first year and then build out? It was a lot of different pieces that this person was had the expertise to help guide us through the thoughts. So we went to the select board and asked if they could hire somebody that would work with us and get us through these different phases and steps on just the planning phase alone, let alone if we go to bond vote and something's approved, going through the construction and implementation as well. So where we're at with that, we'll confirm with Duncan if when he logs in. If the select board even approved to go out to RFP, or if we have to, if they needed us to answer some questions that we're unaware of, to go back to
That's
them.
it. Unless, I mean, I haven't, I'm not sure if you've talked to Duncan or Josh or any of them about what should be in there. I haven't, I don't know that in that and.
The
Word
discussion-
around, I know you did go and talk to them originally.
The discussion that I had with Adam and we had mentioned it with Matt when Art was here presenting, the Campbell's Home Design person that was here presenting, was that the estimate that was provided by Campbell's Home Design was basically the skeleton for the RFP,
Right,
and that they were supposed to use that for the RFP.
right.
That's the last I heard, and that's where we
Okay,
were at.
okay, I
have
didn't, I hadn't heard that exactly, although we had given them, did we take that down off on the website? It was,
That's a good
I
question.
didn't see it in there, and we kind of said at the meeting that it shouldn't have been because it had prices and so forth, and it's gonna go competitive. We shouldn't give him the, put him in the
Disadvantage.
position, a disadvantage of having his out there before that anybody else.
It was
can look at.
public record that was released. so
It was
technically,
public record for a while, but.
We don't have to
prob-
make it easy to find
but
for
nobody's-
the bidders.
Nobody's logged in to look at anything we've done yet, so, well, I take that back. I know some people have been listening to the videos of our meetings.
Perfect. So we'll circle back to that agenda item when Duncan logs in, and we'll go from there. And if we don't, and if he doesn't, we'll
You
we'll
know, and
follow up and we'll push. And if it's waiting to go to RFP, we'll make sure it gets out there before our next meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
That'd be
this.
great. And what do you have for next agenda item?
Next agenda item.
Meeting minutes.
Where
I
did I
think
do?
are
I lost our agenda, where did it go?
Yeah.
Review library capital maintenance plan. Do we need to do that? Are we doing?
I know you,
Go ahead.
I have that too, I can share that. if people-
I think you sent it out to all of us, and,
Yep.
and we kept saying we were gonna
Hadn't
look at it in the
discussed it,
meeting.
right.
I think I don't know that we have a lot to.
We can see what
Say-
it looks like and show the public what it looks like, since it's an agenda
Yes.
item.
We share my screen with that one too, I actually. pulled
Thank
it up. So just doing this. Yeah. And that one.
While she's looking that up, a lot of what we've been doing is trying to understand what was done before us. So we don't travel down the same exact path, we open up to a broader view. And that's what we've been doing, is we've been trying to understand what our role is, what we're looking to have to do, how can we do it differently than maybe what it was done before. So Amy works with, are you on that?
I'm a library trustee.
She's a
Yep.
library trustee, so she is definitely somebody who knows what's going on with the library, and because the library has been doing so many capital improvements on both interior and exterior work that has been approved using the same reserve fund that the town center is funded out of for the exterior work. We thought it was appropriate for us to understand their side of things, because this committee is supposed to oversee that as well. But we are staying focused on this building with Amy
Mhm.
providing us information of what the trustees are doing.
Amy's supposedly the library person on this committee, but she's also the only person that's held over from the previous version of it, so we put her on the spot sometimes to find out what was going on before.
My memory's better than other days, so, this is a Lori Dana, who's the chair, one of the co-chairs of the trustees. Put this together a couple of months ago, and it was just to look at some of the big capital projects that we've done in the library over the last 2 years. I think this goes from 2020, does it go? how did
I'm
she-
gonna see if we can do like a full screen view, so we
Yeah.
can get more of your, I don't see it.
It's either from the things we've done since 2020
Oh,
or,
that's better.
oh, good job, there it is, or 2022, it might be 2022. And then it shows some of the things that we would like to do, or projects recently completed, and then some of these are things that we have to prioritize when they're going to happen. I feel like this is an older draft. I thought we had fiscal year notes in here too. So a big thing that we've been talking a lot about is the roof. We do need to fully replace the roof. We've applied for a couple of different grants to try to do that, and we haven't gotten those yet. So option one, if we were gonna fully replace the roof and we got a grant, we might be able to finance that. But, it seems like what's more feasible is that we're gonna sort of replace damaged shingles, like going along as we can.
And these are slate shingles.
These are
That's-
slate,
that's-
yeah, it's a
that's
slate roof.
Beautiful roof.
Yep.
Roof to stay slate, if
Yeah.
we're able to save that.
It's not, it's old, we're at 150 years on the roof, but it's knock on wood, not leaking currently, so, and they've done some
Yeah.
patches and repairs.
Slate should last forever, but it's what
Yeah.
holds them up there. I think
Yeah.
that's,
And I think
problem.
they have done a very good
Yeah.
job at, and also the inspections that have been going
Yeah.
on to make sure, so that when they see that there's a problem, they take care of it, so
Yep.
that's key, that maintenance, that's.
The company that did the painting and the work this summer were really good, and they did a great job. Rebecca was really happy with their work, and they were really good. They ended up going up and doing sort of an inspection with a drone and gave us a really good comprehensive look at where we're at. We did use some town center funding and some ARPA funding for some of the work that happened this past summer.
Yeah.
The front steps need to be redone. We had a cost estimate of somewhere between $60,000 and $82,000 for those. We've applied for a couple grants to try to get funding, which haven't been successful, so that hasn't been done yet.
Can I ask you, do you actually use the front steps?
We can't, they're not usable right now, but we really do need to have them done because it's the emergency egress
Okay.
for the community room.
So would you use them in the future as, I mean, if we're gonna put $82,000 into some steps, would we actually be able to use them more than just emergency? Because
Potentially,
it's-
yes.
It's a beautiful
Yep.
yeah.
entrance
Yeah.
to go in.
Yes, yeah, potentially, yes. And really, we're not meeting code right now because they're not usable for egress. And so they would like to, redo the masonry on those. So we're exploring, how are we gonna tackle that project?
So while you explore that, please bring that so that I really want those to be used. I want it to be not just emergency.
Yeah,
If we're gonna spend $82,000
Yeah.
or whatever, let's have it be a use for the
Yeah.
public and not just in case of an emergency.
and we would have to think about, because those come right into the community room that goes up, like there's no. Is there an exit to the first floor? I don't think you can get into the first floor of the library, but you go in, you come up the steps and you end up in the community room for programming. So that would be just how do we monitor entrance and who's coming in the library?
There's a straight door. I think maybe your issue would be that you're going directly into a corner, dark corner.
Yeah.
of the library,
Yeah.
As opposed to.
Well,
entering
And you may also not want people to get upstairs without going.
Oh, I
through by the
agree, but
front.
I'm just saying, if you have some big event going on.
Yeah.
They'll go through the front door,
Yeah.
have the stairs,
Yeah.
I think that'd be grand and.
Yeah, you don't leave them
More
open all the
community
time.
feeling of this is a
Yeah.
beautiful building that we're using,
Yeah.
not just, let's go through the library and let's go
Yeah.
these back stairwell or elevator to get there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, water, so basically it's wood rot kind of stuff. The water goes down and we've taken some steps to fix that because we've removed some trees on the far side of the building by the cemetery. Where because of the tree cover, the building wasn't drying out when it got wet and it was leading to rot. That should be better going forward because we have taken some of those trees down. One of the things we were hoping to do with the old town center proposal was part of the site work outside was gonna redo the entrance on this side of the library with a new handicap ramp and, better accessibility.
Can
So
I
we're looking
ask
into,
if
other
that
options.
doesn't happen, you have 2 handicap parking spaces out here.
yeah,
And now that they're not doing the sidewalk anymore, we don't lose those 2 handicap parking
No.
spaces.
the handicap spaces aren't ideal in that spot because you have people having to back out into traffic. It's not real safe for anybody that's driving or walking, but we aren't gonna lose those spaces anytime
Okay.
soon. Yeah.
Okay. The ramp, the way it is now, I mean, there was discussion about if it has to move or change and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If it doesn't move or change, does it need work done to it?
I think it's been patched, let's see, handicap sidewalk steps into parking lot have been patched for liability reasons. This should be repaired. I think there are some big cracks and places that
Can
we,
you follow up with
Yeah.
them on that and,
Yeah.
and update that piece? I mean, I'm very pro safety,
Mhm.
fix things.
Yeah.
Don't wait for some bond
Yeah.
vote. We
And also
have the money to
accessibility.
Fix it now,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So yes, please.
So that was one of our priorities, doors and windows, carpet, the carpet cleaning, that is. Part of, I think we had that blocked into the library reserve
It has
funds
to
for
be.
this
It's
year,
interior,
yeah,
yeah,
because that's
interior.
interior, so lighting and boiler, things like this. Boiler, we don't anticipate that there's a problem right away. I think one thing that we are looking at adding to this list based on the last couple months is the elevator needs to be addressed. They did fix the elevator. It was out for about a month or so, month and a half. It is now fixed and currently working. And Suzanne is trying to schedule a consult with Alpha, which is the elevator company. We've gotten conflicting reports as to it needs to be replaced. No, it's fine. You know, it's still going. So she's trying to get a straight answer on what's the state of the elevator. The
Now,
thing,
they have to be inspected.
they have to be inspected. For a while. The old elevator company, Otis Elevator, was billing us for inspections that Rebecca didn't feel were actually being done. She's like, I'm paying for things, but nobody's showing up to look at the elevator. So that's been part of the problem. I think that's been better with Alpha, which
The new
is the new
company.
elevator company. What Suzanne said at our last trustees meeting was the elevator is older. It's not, it shouldn't be past its useful life yet, but this particular model is apparently being phased out. So getting
Mhm.
replacement parts for it when it does break takes a long time. So initially, when the elevator went out the last time, one of the things they also discovered is that like fluid has to be, hydraulic fluid is supposed to be changed on a regular basis. I don't think ours has been changed in
Maintenance.
20 years.
Yeah.
So they replaced the hydraulic fluid. That seems to have helped. They replaced a couple parts once they came in. And the labor actually took place. They had said, oh, it'll take us 4 days to fix, which was going to be a pretty sizable labor charge. They actually ended up fixing it in like an afternoon. So that was good. We saved some money on that.
That's great. news.
Yep. And so again, Suzanne's trying to follow back up with them on, can you give us an estimate, like what is the useful life of this elevator and how much would it cost to replace and when do you feel like it's gonna need? But that will be a huge expense if they tell us we need to
Has to be
replace the
replaced.
elevator.
Can you confirm inspection date?
Mhm.
Can you confirm maintenance plan? Like how often the hydraulic fuels are supposed to be changed and make sure we have some kind of maintenance plan set up on this exit. If it's working right now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
let's make
Yep.
sure that we're doing that inspection. And it's not just an inspection to make sure it's safe. We want a maintenance inspection as well. To say, hey, this is looking like it's worn, you really should repair this part, or you really should change the hydraulics every other year, or something like that. So a maintenance schedule. And an inspection, safety inspection.
We also have a elevator in this building
Yeah,
Is it
that,
the same company?
I think there's only one elevator company in New England these days. I think everybody uses the same
it seemed
elevator.
like
We need the
maybe
same
we could
thing.
save a little money if we put them both on the same
Well,
schedule.
Well, correct, and I know Duncan, I have in my updates, when I go through the updates of the maintenance of this building, I know Duncan is meeting with them.
Yeah.
So we can pass that to Duncan, if that's okay with you, Amy, to find out about the library. Let's make sure that the library and the town center are piggybacking when they come.
Yeah, I would have him reach out to Suzanne, because Suzanne, the new director of the library, is in charge of.
Beautiful,
The building.
between the two of them,
Yeah.
yep, we'll make sure that they're lining that up and doing the same thing. Safety inspection as well as maintenance schedule and making sure we're taking care of both of them. Doesn't mean we won't need new, but at least let's make sure we have accessibility
All right.
to all floors for people who have limited.
So we did talk at the trustees meeting, last meeting, we have, I think, about $60,000 in the library reserve fund, which is for all the interior work that the library wants to do. We're not asking for any more funds to be put into that fund for this fiscal year. We'll
Is there that out in the budget?
they think they talked about it the other night. We pulled we requested $15,000 initially in the initial
And
round,
then-
and now we've pulled that request
Okay.
for this fiscal year.
Yep.
So there won't be any more money going into the library reserve fund this year.
Hmm.
But we have enough to cover a couple of the projects, I think, which is mostly the flooring and some lighting stuff.
Okay,
So I'm just a little confused with all the funds here,
sure.
that we have a building maintenance fund that the rent from the post office and so
Correct.
forth goes into. which is basically for both buildings,
have
I
it.
think, is
Let-
that?
there's-
And there's a separate one for the library?
When we talk reserves, let's call reserves are your savings accounts.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a library reserve that she's talking about, that's 60,000, that's for the interior expenses, the
Yeah.
maintenance, the whatever they need to do
Yeah.
inside the building.
And where does the money come from to go into that?
Here's what happens, when the whole budget for the whole town goes
Yeah.
on, expense line items are put on the budget. One of those line items is to fund the library
So
interior
that comes from the
reserve.
general fund from the town.
Comes from rate the tax base, that is correct.
Okay,
That's annually, that's decided on how much to go
Okay.
into that savings account.
okay.
That's one line item. The other line item is the town center and library exterior reserve, same reserve. The other savings account that covers both the exterior over there and this complete building. That goes into a reserve account.
Okay,
Now, the money that's paid for from the post office is what you're talking about.
yeah,
That amount of money is supposed to be put into that reserve account, that savings account that covers an exterior and this building. With some of it taken out to cover annual maintenance of
yeah,
this
yeah,
building.
absolutely.
And they increased that from $15,000 last year for FY 25. They're proposing 25,000 for FY 26.
Yeah.
So that anything we need done up to $25,000 in this building or on the outside of that building is an actual expense item that we don't have to draw money out of our savings account for.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
So they're saying, we know you're gonna have some expenses. We're gonna put some money in your savings account, and we're gonna put some money in your checking account so that you have money to pay for your expenses.
mhm,
And then anytime you go over those expenses in your checking account, you gotta go to select board and ask for them to pull some out of the reserves to use it.
okay, but it still is in the reserve that is here to work on these buildings.
Correct, the
It's
reserve,
how it's used specific to these buildings.
correct,
And I think you said the exterior of the
of
library.
the library,
And
Because
all
the
of this,
the
Correct.
town owns the library building, so they're like, the library's the tenant of the building.
Oh,
So
is
the
that right?
tenant is
Okay,
responsible
okay.
for the fit out.
Okay,
the
so the
library
library-
trustees are the.
the
Yeah.
library is
Yeah.
not it's not a town function, I didn't realize that.
The library
that's a separate-
trustees
Yeah.
control the library,
Okay, it's a separate.
And that's,
Separate-
that's
separate
but their budget still goes through the town. So
Yeah.
don't be confused here.
Yeah,
They just control how the library
So-
spends their money, but they don't,
but the town still gives them the money.
correct, through the taxes,
Yeah.
through the budget. Yes,
and that's all libraries, that's per state law in Vermont. The
Yes.
Libraries are set up that way.
Okay,
yes,
okay, and
but I
so,
didn't want them to get confused. You don't
Yeah.
have a budget that has to be approved
No,
So-
separately. It's all part of. the-
yes, it's
So
part of the town
so
budget.
the money that goes into the library fund does not come out of this fund for the buildings.
The exterior of
It
it
comes out of the
this.
tax base
Yeah,
separately. It's just line item in the,
Yes,
Town
the
budget.
library's budget, yes.
okay, all right.
It's part of the
I think
tax
I
base.
understand.
And so the library director puts the budget together and submits the budget to Josh and
Yeah.
the select board, and they,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay,
make recommendations.
yeah, that's where
I think everybody. was
I missed the
confused
point
about
that the library was different than this building. I thought it was just two buildings. So all we worry about in this committee then is
Outside,
outside of it. All right.
And the mechanicals
And the
inside, and the
mechanicals.
mechanicals inside.
Okay. Sounds good. I think I get it.
And these are just in the last 2 years, the recently completed projects and the funding source.
I'm so pleased that you guys didn't wait for anybody else and as a. Trustees.
Yeah.
You didn't only take responsibility for inside, but you pushed to have outside work done,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Yeah, and Rebecca was a big driver for that too, and I think Suzanne's gonna be really good at kind of taking things to the next phase, so, yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
stop sharing.
I think that helps a lot of people if they're gonna watch this to understand the difference between the two and
Yeah,
how it
and
works.
that helped me because I didn't understand it.
I mean, what do you have next on?
Let's see, okay, nope, that's minutes, I have too many tabs open as usual.
I think it was all the
Updates
minutes
on
from the
town.
last meeting since May.
Updates on town center maintenance items.
Town center and maintenance items, if Duncan's not on, I'll go.
You want me to text him?
Do you mind,
Yeah.
just to see, if he doesn't wanna jump on, he did send me an email.
I'm already on. Can you
There
hear
it
me?
Yes, we
Oh,
can.
there he is.
Welcome to the meeting, Duncan. Before we have you go through the towns, the updates on the email that you sent to me, we just had a question because we did not attend, and Adam's not here. We did not attend the select board meeting regarding the recommendation that we had that the select board hire a owner's project manager, and if that was going to RFP or if they had questions that needed to come back to us. Are you aware of where that is in that process?
In short, I'm not aware. I'd have to follow up on that and research it to make sure. Yeah, I know it's on the plate, but I don't think we've done anything. The select board has not done anything. I know that much. I
It was an
know.
agenda item. It was an agenda
Yeah,
item.
yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, I'm not good at remembering all those, but I'm pretty sure we don't have a. I know we don't have a contract with anyone per se. I know they've discussed it, but they might have kicked that down the road to get more people to talk about it too, is my short recollection. But I think that's all in the topic, and it might be actually coming up on Monday's meeting, actually.
Okay, I will follow up with Josh tomorrow. You don't have to do that, Duncan. I'll follow up with Josh tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't need to, you don't need to go back and forth and wonder what's going on. I'll just come right out and say, this was our
No,
recommendation.
sorry. Yeah, I wish I had a better answer than that, but
It's okay.
I'm just, I don't remember
No.
stuff. I have to look at emails and research stuff.
No, Duncan, I just really appreciate it. It's not a problem. It's not a to-do list of items for you, so please don't worry about that, is I guess my point.
I have the minutes. Do you want me to, from that meeting?
From the select board
Yeah.
meeting?
Adam elaborated they could use the proposal to create an RFP in a day-to-day correspondence. Arneson said that when the town hired an owner's rep previously, he had a request for qualification search in order to get project manager and then decide which firm to hire based on responses. Wood said someone needs to come in and do a building assessment and do project design as well as budget narrative. Doesn't look like they made any decision on
Okay.
anything.
So I will just ask that it be put back on the select board agenda for Monday night. And we'll get them to make a decision because it's holding us up if we're gonna have somebody
makes
who's gonna
sense.
help guide us through the process.
Yep.
Thank you, Amy, for checking those meeting minutes. I appreciate that. Duncan, I didn't do anything with your email and read it to anybody yet or anything like that. So if you want to give some updates, I'd love the committee to hear it right from you, and I appreciate all your hard work on this.
Yeah, no, I just think, yeah, there's a lot of projects that I kind of just posted onto the agenda in terms of stuff that we have ongoing. I feel at the building. We've not only done the door security bids, we've gotten a few of those. The Jay LeBear, Josh, and I haven't met about that to confirm how we want to proceed with that. Once again, that might be on the select board meeting for Monday of how we want to proceed with something like that. It's obviously a costly project, but it is, at least we got bids. The last time we went out, we didn't get bids. So at least we have bids, and information's better than no information.
Do you have
We
an idea of range on those bids? You don't have to be exact, but was it like 5,000?
No,
Was it
yeah. Let me just look at the first one. Yeah, if the first one, they're within, yeah. So you've got about, yeah. I've got a spreadsheet once again that I could pull up that I've shared with some people, Josh and Jay, just to look at, but I don't want to just like rely on all that. But yeah, it's basically 41,000 for our access control system is the first bid, with 3,500 for a surveillance system, and that's the doc I'm just looking at, the first door security bids. And as you scroll down, you'll just see all the little different bids there. As you get to different companies, you eventually get to their little similar bid page that shows you everything that they've kind of bid. You got a 52,000 and 1,800. And then you've got two different ones from Royal Group, because it depends on whether you're doing it with server in-house at our that we have to host through Simperope, or we have an actual total cloud system from a camera, basically. is what has been explained to me
Yeah.
from the Royal Group and other people. It's just like, you don't need a piece of hardware and other stuff. It can just, and you can do a lot of stuff with that. But whatever, we've got a lot of stuff we got to dig through on the differences of that just between Josh, Jay, and I. But all of you are welcome to provide feedback, because the more eyes, the better. And that's why I've posted all those bits. So I don't know if
Now,
whoever's
Duncan,
control.
that was for, I just want to make sure it's clear for the public and everything. That is for exterior and interior, correct?
Not all interior doors, just
But
a
a
few,
lot
a
of key
lot, eight,
places.
I think it's 18 interior doors and 2 exterior doors. So we basically isolated it to the front entrance on Bridge Street and then the main entrance, which is by the parking lot and library. Those are the 2 places where we have the more secure cameras and more secure entries. And then there's different doors that you can give people key fobs, or iPhones can open them, or phones can open them. There's all sorts of technology these days where people have different permissions that I can get into this door, I can't get into this door, sort of things.
Can I ask one other question, since we're going looking electronic and we are in a flood zone?
Yeah.
Power could be out and
Oh,
generator
no, yeah.
could be
We still have master
questionable.
locks. We still
Okay.
do have master locks. Oh, yeah.
And I thought you were gonna say that, but I think it's important for other people to hear that as well. So thank you.
Yeah, no,
And-
there's also, once again, these days, I mean, it's really impressive what they've thought of these days in terms of all the stuff. I mean, I could essentially lock down the place, from a phone with some systems which is good or bad. I don't want to go down that route, but that's necessarily a good thing, but you have the ability to do that. Or you still have the hard bolt stuff. We still have master keys that we have to maintain. We're just trying to make it one master key and not have everyone have a bazillion different keys these days. Because it is,
Thank-
once again, they tell us it is. It's just it's the way it's going, and especially with security, if you want to be secure. We obviously have issues with some of our doors because they're so old and wooden. Some companies look at them, they'd be like, I would not put anything on this door until you upgrade the door first.
And I think we were talking, when the committee sent that as an item to yes, move forward with, our assumption was doors that needed to be replaced were going to be part of it. That we didn't expect you to put any new locking system on a door that really needs to be replaced first. So that was something else we were actually looking for with that. So I appreciate that.
No,
Okay.
it gives us good information, I think, just to look at. Once again, I was glad to just start looking at the information and start to grasp my head around it. It's not the easiest project to imagine. Once again, showing the contractors all the different ways we might be able to set up electrical and other things is not easy in our building.
Yeah. Please continue on with your list. I just wanted to ask questions
Yeah.
about that. I'm putting it
Yeah,
on.
no. I'll kind of go
double check
through. I
with
think,
the
yeah.
stuff.
So I did the door security. Once again, we've got an impact fire inspection that we're following up on. Once again, we have some faulty systems. I don't know why they are, but it doesn't involve me. I kind of get our electrician Craig Wood to do it, and he schedules it in. We try to fix those, but we're having another. That was the inspection I was just speaking of, is just for like your extinguishers, your emergency lights are working. So they go test all of those and then they give you feedback on those. And then we're having another, I think, fire inspection. Hold on, let me check it. I think it's next Tuesday. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's next Tuesday with our new system. Once again, we've got a newish system that they just come and test frequently. So they're doing that. So that was kind of put in there. And then also we've got the roof stuff. We had a guy who looked at a lot of our exterior issues. He's a contractor who works in New England, not a contractor. He's more of a manager of contractors who works in New England. And he wanted to come take a look at, you know, some of the stuff we had to offer. And, you know, he gave us some good documents on our roof and stuff, but he felt more our you know, our post office situation and our basement situation all the way up to the front is more than he would want to handle at this point. So
He gave you some documentation though on this stuff. Can you forward that to the full committee so that they have that information on, if somebody's been doing inspections that we should be aware of, that would be great if you could forward
Yeah.
that to the committee.
yeah. So yeah, or like tell you before they come.
No, I don't necessarily, they're fine.
Or just any, you know, I think I've posted all the documentation I
Okay.
have.
Okay.
No, they
great.
come and we kind of talk about things like, once again, like even today, so you know, the rain's coming and I'm walking out around radiate just to make sure it's not seeping in. And you're seeing it is at least coming off the roof and into that little drainage system. And, you know, once again, a lot of the contractors want to know a lot of more about how that's all constructed and stuff. And it's like, it's just, yeah, it's like, I think it's constructed like that, but I haven't researched it to the nth degree of like where I can confirm anything, how it's draining off that roof or whatever.
Is it off the portico? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, off the portico
okay.
or
Yeah.
off, and
Always
and
have so.
yeah, and you know, just off of many places. The new one off the post office doesn't seem to be leaking, but there's always, once again, yeah, you know, on the post office roof, I'm just, you know, waiting for the post office to call me and tell me, hey, guess what's leaking? It'll pop up somewhere in the post office and some ceiling tile, and it's not like a direct drip, it just finds its way down somewhere.
On the good news, you got the downspout fixed outside for the
Yeah, no, that looks great.
entrance. You got
yeah,
some
no,
things
I
that
think
are being fixed.
right. No, it's just, yeah, and those are some of the, and I can't remember. I mean, just I was gonna look at the email I sent you here just to make sure I covered all
Now,
the stuff.
you
But
have the
I don't know if
Acme-
there's other questions you have.
You have the Acme, for the doors
Yes.
to be, the entrance doors to be repaired. Are we moving forward with repairing those at least?
Well, yes, I don't think we want to wait. I mean, once again, if as you go out tonight, you'll see it pretty clearly if you haven't noticed it already.
Why not?
The very outside doors, which are never locked, so they're open anyways. The bars and the handles are failing pretty significantly pretty quick, and it's just, if people don't pay attention, it's like being in an old house. If you don't pay attention to how you close the door doesn't close, and so someone else has got to go close it for you, and it's just to that point. So
So what did that
and
price,
we're
did
trying
that price look like something that had to go out to RFP, or can we just hire and not have that repair done?
well, yeah, I was
Is it below?
I was
the
just asking, yeah.
threshold?
No, I was just asking Acme to give me I was hoping it wasn't going to be too much, and then I was going to proceed from there. But once again, it's
Okay.
hard to get people to show up and do it. This was, you know, within the last 2 weeks that, I mean, it's always been a bad thing on the side closest to the post office, but the side that's closest to the police station, or our side, is starting to fail on one of the bar basically foundations that is pulling apart. If you try to pull the door closed, you can see part of it pulling out on another side, basically.
Yeah,
So,
so please,
yeah.
please move forward with just replace the doors.
No,
I
no,
think
I
that
would, I would love to
they're
do
beyond
that.
repair.
Yeah. I will do my best to do that.
I mean, I think, and if the select board needs to do something, needs to
I would, yeah.
approve it, whatever you need to do.
Well, unless it's a
we're-
major thing, I think Josh can handle that. I think that's one of those things. It's just like, yep, let's just do it.
Beautiful. You do have on the list that the elevator folks are scheduled, I'm just sneeze, sorry about that.
No, I have not heard when they're coming, but they are scheduled, they are supposed to come, and they're doing a whole, they're trying to make sure we've got all our fluids, all our, you know, shaft. Well, I mean, we've had our shaft inspected several times since the floods. But they're just coming to make sure everything's all still working and doing a real good maintenance on that. And that is something that we should put into our regular budget too, of like, hey, you gotta upgrade that and look at it. And then that's where they're gonna look at they're just gonna confirm the carpet stuff for the floor of the
Beautiful.
elevator.
Do you need me to leave a sample of that for you? So they can have.
Yeah, sure. If you have a sample, drop it off.
Or
It
drop-
wouldn't hurt to have
I will
it.
drop
Yeah,
that off.
I'd love to have it. Yeah, because then we can just look at it and hey, you weren't thinking of putting this out. Boop. Does that work? Yes. Because I think it did, but yeah.
Back to their scheduled maintenance, can you actually have them give us a year's worth of how often they should come? What things should be within that year,
Yeah.
like Amy was telling us about the library maintenance, that they replaced the hydraulic
Hydraulic fluid, yeah.
fluid that they
Right.
hadn't done in
That's what
many,
they're
many
doing. That's what
years.
we're concerned about. Right. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yes, yes. But yes,
And
that's
if they
part
could
of
get, if we can have some kind of cost amount that's associated on
Okay.
it, and if they have to replace the hydraulic fluid every other year, or how often that is, anything like that. If they have a certain part that they know wears out after every 2 years, that kind of piece of information would
No,
be
we
helpful
should-
for us going forward.
No, it would be good to get more of a long-term plan of what's going on. And that's what I've tried to build since I started here. It's just like, hey, what are the different things that come up? Not so much cost-wise, but just like, hey, you gotta remember this is gonna keep popping up. It's like it doesn't go away. So yeah.
Thank you.
Elevator is one of those things that, yeah, it's a longer term thing. I know the library's had issue. I've been fine with Otis. I mean, they've showed up when we've needed to during the floods. I don't
Isn't it
always catch
Alpha
them.
now?
I don't always catch them in person. What?
Isn't it Alpha now? Like
Is it
Otis is
what?
gone, I thought, but well, yeah, I think the elevator companies are changing over, because Suzanne said we used to use Otis, but now we use Alpha, because their Otis is
Yeah, but you
gone.
guys, but the library switched. We didn't.
Oh, okay, I thought there was,
Yeah,
well, anyway, I thought
we stuck
Suzanne
with
had said there was
Otis.
only
Well,
one.
I'm still paying the bills to Otis. We're still doing contracts with Otis. They might start billing, who knows how the elevator companies are working on that, but yes, it is. And there's a couple, actually, an individual contractor who showed up too, of like, hey, I do elevator stuff. If you really want to, once again, I don't, it's like I don't have a ton of time where I want to like look out for like changing that, but it's like I trust, what's already there. The people who know, and they do show up, but I know there have been issues, so I'm aware of it. And we're getting another one, and we just want to keep that moving forward and making sure that's working. But since the floods, I'm amazed that shaft doesn't flood. So thank God for that.
Another issue that you had was plumbing. You had the post office faucet fixed, and I think at one point there was other
Yep.
plumbing issues. Have we resolved all of the plumbing issues, the maintenance issues that were outstanding?
The post office probably got a few other ones that'll probably pop up. I can't tell for sure. I haven't done a good
Nothing
audit on
existing.
everything.
Anything existing?
No, I don't think there's
here?
no. I think we've done. I mean, a lot of the I mean, once again, you never know, but I think most of our plumbing seems to work. That's what we try to just keep an eye on. But
Okay, perfect.
Brian's pretty reliable with that sort of stuff, and we've replaced, some stuff here and there, but you never know with those things because I don't have a record of when things have been replaced. It would take me a ton of time to research when the last
No,
time
it's
the
okay.
bathroom.
No, it's okay. It's just if somebody has repeatedly reported something to you that hasn't gotten fixed, then
No, I
we're
think
gonna
we-
hear it. But if we
No, I think
haven't
we're
heard
pretty
it,
I think we do a pretty
Great.
good job with it. It's once again, it's more. I wish it went quicker, but contractors are busy these
Oh, yeah.
days. It's
I
tough
hear
to
ya.
work with us too. They don't get paid till way after, so it's like it's not easy. And yeah, we got a bunch of small projects too, which is not good money either. So it's like but I feel like we've created a good contact list and a good support
Great.
group where we have, hey, if they look out for us, they have enough, consideration for us where they will come if we need something. Yeah, it just pops up. You never know. With that
Perfect.
building,
And
you just honestly never know.
yeah, no, and I'm not looking for things that we don't know about yet. That's not I appreciate you dealing with things as they arise. The other thing that's on the list that I know you've got Limoges and Biggins dealing with was
Yep.
the upcoming visit for the post office bay dock, that you're gonna do the rotting fascia and that kind of stuff. So thank you for working through that with them and getting that taken care of. But I think that's everything that you have on the list for us.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you need from us?
No, yeah. I don't think we're just, we try to do as much. I mean, I know we all have a lot of things we want to do. It's just, I think, more piecemeal. I think as we're doing here tonight of like, what are the things we're kind of like all in agreement of like, yeah, let's just do this as quick as possible versus no, we got to raise a lot of money to do this.
Yep. Radiate is here in the room with us. And
Right.
I just wanted to make sure, since it is raining outside right now. Do we have any water going into their space currently
I was just thinking I should go check.
that we need to know about?
I'll do
we
that
talked-
tomorrow morning too. So yeah, you'll never know.
Okay.
I think it'll be, I mean,
There's
I
a class down
knock
there,
on
right?
wood. Right.
And we talked about putting a dehumidifier down there. Do we have any dehumidifiers down there running now?
We have had,
Yes.
Okay.
we can check it when we go down and see.
Okay, now, is that something you have to manually entry, or is it plumbed to drain somewhere?
It is not, there's no drain component,
Okay,
but I,
No, that one's manual. We have a few auto ones in the basement and the vault and the downstairs vault that are auto drain.
okay, theirs isn't, but others do.
Yes. There's one, the ones down in the bottom basement. There's one that we sometimes run down there by the boilers that is not an auto drain that we just kind of just dump every once in a while because we don't use it all the time. And then there's one above the level there in the storage room on the the north side of the building. So the northwest side of the building underneath has one that does drain outside, and then the vault, the downstairs vault on the other side has a drain.
And just so Radiate is aware, we understand and we are looking into what the solution is. And we've been told that if we did the sealant on the inside of the walls, instead of doing it on the outside of the walls, that by doing the inside, you can't do the outside. So that's why we really want to get the owner's project manager in here and have true explanations and understanding, because we don't want to do a temporary fix that causes a problem to do the permanent fix. And we want some expertise to make sure that we're not having hearsay and somebody who wants to do it one way is just saying that versus these are the facts.
did you see
But-
the quotes that were given about the drainage system that they were thinking of putting in the $14,000?
And there's questions on whether that's the best way to go for the
Yes.
permanent versus the temporary. So we don't need to put you off, and that is something that, when you start looking at things, you need to make sure
Yeah.
your foundation is good for all the rest of the work
Well,
that you want
it's
to do.
very expensive for such a building, I think. And also, like, they were kind of very different ideas,
Mhm.
so.
That's
One of them, you have to take like part of the wall out.
Yeah, so we're staying back going, we're not pushing
Yeah.
forward on that piece.
Yeah.
So if we've got dehumidifiers running to help you with that, if we've got to make sure if there's water coming in, is there any way that we can do something that temporary? Like reroute the water, can we put a gutter in, can we move something to move water away from the building versus coming into your space? So if you've got a window that's leaking, can we fix the leaking window? So if you can keep us informed on that kind of stuff, would be very helpful for us to make sure you have a comfortable space for right now while we look at what can happen. Okay, so okay, so
That helps because that tells us basically, you sort of put that on hold to find out,
the technical
yeah.
behind it and not just one vendor saying, do it this way over another vendor saying, doing it
I
this
think-
way.
I think Adam had some experience with that and he felt this, it might help for a while kind of thing. It wouldn't be a
Yeah.
permanent fix to do it that way. And it was, so he wasn't I don't think in
But if they come
Favor.
back and say a combination of doing a certain thing outside and still doing the thing on inside, I'm gonna weigh it
Yeah,
from all
yeah.
angles.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm waiting to see is let's really look at, I'm not looking at spending $2 million on a foundation on this building, I'll tell you that right
No.
now. But I'm willing to put something into it that can prevent and make the space better.
Yeah.
Not looking to elevate the building either, I'm just letting you know some basics.
or fill in the basement.
Not looking to dry, I'm not looking to dry proof for flooding, we're in a flood zone, we have to deal with how it is, so. Just giving you those ideas, so if there's something that you need from us that come to us, that's what we need to hear from. I mean, we're not looking to have you give us a wish list, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think one thing we were thinking about was just to make the floor look a little better and be able to be cleaned a little better on a small fixed level.
Yeah.
I mean, we were thinking what we could even do. I mean, the concrete sort of, Duncan can explain this better probably, but the concrete sort of lets the water seep up, and can we just
Put a
do
ceiling.
something to
And that's-
smooth it off?
That's a-
And that's what we want this, we want
Yeah.
this, if we get an owner's project manager in here and we look at. And have him bring some expertise in to say, what can we do that doesn't impact. Long-term fixes, what can we do for immediate fixes,
Yeah.
can this happen, and they say yes, we'll look at that and start
Yeah.
pricing it and look forward.
Yeah.
Good.
It's not gonna happen tomorrow,
No.
but that's why I'll try to push to be on the next select board meeting, I'll try to make that next step, is I had a miscommunication between Adam and I thought we were going to RFP, or else I would have been at the last 3 select board meetings saying, come on, we need to get this moving forward so we can make some decisions that are not based on lack of knowledge.
One
That's-
other thing while Duncan is here too is we've been considering and talking about putting a chair elevator lift just on those stairs, and this is something we would finance. Did you want to say something about that? And I just wondered whether there would be any reason that we shouldn't do that, or.
I think that's more a OSHA safety, making sure that the width of the ingress and egress is correct. If the chair takes up too much space, then that can't happen. If you have somebody who needs to have that kind of, then maybe it's a situation where you request using one of the rooms upstairs for the event or whatever you're doing. I think we need to just be cautious of that. I am definitely somebody who's pro accessibility. Even if it's a child that has to have that level of ingress and egress.
No, we need that for insurance measures. That's one of the things they bother us about. We just need to find a good solution that fits everyone. It can't be like a steep stair thing. We got to find something that's got the right, plane and everything, which takes up space outside the basement.
And then the liability of switching somebody to that chair to go up and down versus if there was a ramp there instead, there's all those different pieces that you gotta look at, right?
So there is a company, an accessibility company that we wanna go and talk to.
I'm personally okay with
You
you.
get to get a
I'm
proposal.
I'm
Yeah.
personally okay with you.
Yes.
And then they would
Looking at
help you,
Yeah.
they would come and look at the space
Yeah.
and tell you what would work.
I mean, I can't say 100% that. The basement will always be used for radiate and always be used to something,
Yeah.
if something happens and a flood occurs and we can't use the basement anymore. But I'm totally open to you going and getting
Yeah.
information. I do think it's important that if you are using a space for public purpose, that you do have accessibility, so I would love to hear. What you come back with, yeah.
And we are planning to look at the bigger picture. We started to talk about this, that we had the bond vote that was gonna really redo the whole building, and we don't think that's necessary, but there may be something in between that we will go to eventually. And what was proposed for the flood mitigation was to move you out of there and put you somewhere else. So we don't know where we're gonna end up.
And it didn't mean
after all this.
necessarily in this building, so. I'm not looking at that, Okay,
Yeah, Yeah, I think the
understand that,
the
yeah.
select board has made it clear to us that you are important and we should
To the community.
accommodate something for you. But what it's going to be, moving you somewhere else in this building causes a lot of problems of how we fit you in someplace without,
No, we
without
understand
redoing
that,
everything.
and we're thinking in the relatively short run too. We know that, but if we do find something that can work, you know, we can go with it. Maybe we could do a grant too
Yeah.
that could fund it. There are lots, but we'll just keep you informed of what. And then same thing with the floor, just keep us informed about what can,
What can happen with that?
I mean, the floors, it seems like. I know there's sealant they put on garage floors and so forth that it seems like that's kind of what you were asking there,
yeah,
is just to put
something to make it
make some
easy to clean.
some good waterproof paint on it, you know, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
But it has to have the grit in it. so
Right,
it's not
that's
so-
right, exactly, but it's gotta be a floor made for a floor to go onto concrete, but.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that would be ridiculously expensive,
This
but
is
who knows?
terrible to ask
Everything
after the
seems
fact.
expensive these days, but
This is
What?
terrible to ask after that fact, but I don't have you ladies' name for, so I can put it in the meeting
Oh.
minutes for the record.
my name is Ellen Falsgraf.
Ellen, can you spell your last name?
Sure, FALSGRAF. I'm a Richmond resident, I live on West White. And I'm now I'm the facilities chair.
Radiate.
I took Judy's job from her.
Beautiful.
Just to follow up on some of the basement stuff, we did have some, once again, contractors look at, you know, how do you mitigate the water naturally seeping into that floor? And once again, it's part of, we're in a floodplain, so it's like the water is supposed to be there. We're the one taking up that space, so it's very difficult to do. And even when you put a sealant someplace, the water's gonna go someplace else. So you got to be very careful about how you do things. And yes, you might fix one little problem, but where does that water go? Is what we deal with in the basement, is it starts going into the other parts of our building. And that's everything I've been explained about of all our situation, and why some contractors are like, nope, not even touching that. This is a huger issue than I even want to get into, because you have so many connected pieces here and old systems. It's the roof drains, it's the ground systems, it's the old basement, it's the floodplain, it's the you know, the post office below the post office. It's the whole thing is just in a bad situation, and we just got to be careful. I do want to, you know, fix that and maintain it. Like, I look at that space all the time. Every morning I'll be there every morning looking at it and sopping up water and stuff when it needs to be, for sure. That space
Thank you, Duncan.
is so important. No, but it's just like, it's like you can't help it. It's like it has to get in, and it drips in funny places in that building, having crawled around that building a lot.
And I'm going to allow the other lady in the room to identify herself for the record, if that's okay.
Judy Bush.
And you're a Richmond resident as well.
He'll be.
Yep. And you do what you're here for Radiate,
Yeah.
and you do what for Radiate?
Everything.
Are you, Lisa, it's like, I don't know.
I'm on the board.
There we go, on the board member. That's all I needed for the record, because somebody will ask, and I'm like, didn't get the spelling. Is it BUSH or is it,
Correct.
okay, I didn't know if there was sometimes there's another letter in some
Yeah.
people's names, so. Thank you, I appreciate you both, identifying yourself and helping us get more information about your area and what we can do to help down there. Duncan, I've got nothing else for you, so I don't need to keep you on if nobody else does either. I really appreciate you coming tonight and just giving us an update, and I really appreciate what you're doing to help with this building. Thank you.
No, we're all doing a good job. You know, it's we've all got a good caretaker situation here. We're all got our hearts in the right place. So keep me posted.
And the lighting is the major difference with the lighting between the parking lot and the inside of the building. It's
It's
so
definitely
noticeable.
better.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
it couldn't
you.
have gotten worse. It couldn't have gotten worse. That was the only part.
Well, we could have had more lights. Trust me, it could have gotten worse in the parking lot. We could have had more lights.
It
out.
was close. It was close. We were close, but yes, we did get it a little better. So yes, it does look good. I think the lighting's better. Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay, bye.
You can stay on if you want to, but I think you want some of your life back.
You wanna go check, and see what it looks like then?
Sure.
I'm just sort of anxious.
Cautiously.
I'll be back, or do you wanna, we'll both go down and.
Sure, we can both go.
Yeah, I don't think we have too much more on the agenda. We
Yeah.
have the approval of our old minutes.
And I don't think we're gonna do that without Adam
Okay.
and Matt here, unless you guys wanna move forward with it. I think there was one meeting.
I know last time I talked to Duncan, he was quite anxious to have those done, but.
Well, he can put the drafts up.
Yeah.
We're okay with that.
Yeah.
And we had approved.
Okay.
Good night, thanks for
Good night,
coming.
ladies. I really appreciate you coming. We had approved everything up until the August 14th one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
okay.
So we only had to go through September and October. And it only goes to October 9th. I think.
So did those get into Duncan to be posted? Because he had a list of, well, quite a few of them that
I
he's
will-
looking for.
See.
I will.
Yep, there are draft minutes from October 9th.
That we
on the web-
approved.
On the website.
So, I think the only thing that we had to edit with those approved ones is just move you to an attendee versus
Oh,
an
yeah.
attend, and you were just gonna communicate that, I thought, to Duncan to confirm which meetings that you were as an attendee
I don't
versus a
remember. I think I
member.
gave you that information. I'm not sure
Okay.
I ever gave it to
Okay.
Duncan.
Okay, I can follow
I'll
up on
have
that.
to look again where.
I can look in an email, if you sent an
mean,
email, prior meetings.
I did look through the minutes that Duncan sent out there quickly, and it's like. I vaguely remember us talking about some of that, but which meeting it was, I have no idea.
We're good, we're
Yeah.
good. But,
Yeah.
so he's got the drafts, we can draft, we can, I mean,
Yeah.
if we're all a quorum enough, we can approve the meeting minutes, they're just pretty basic if you
I
want to.
think we should, and.
I'm
just
good
get
with
it
that.
done.
Yeah.
So, Amy, do you mind just knowing which ones we have?
Sure.
Now, I
So, well,
apologize, I missed one
So
meeting.
all
I'll
of
get
them
that.
are, I was looking back. He has draft, his minutes linked on. Everything that I've looked at so far that all say draft underneath. Let me go back to July and see if July
go-
says draft.
I'll go, we're only up until, what's the meeting in that email that he says that we're missing meeting minutes for?
That's a good question. Which email was that one? He sent us.
Just sent it
Find my email.
recently, and I'll pull up the prior meeting minutes.
Agenda, meeting minutes post. Okay, let's see. Let's wait for that. See the following links for previous minutes, missing 828.
Okay, so we started, I think, with 8:14.
Yeah, 814.
So we gotta be approved from 8:14 on, I believe, so let me just pull those up.
Can I do that with one motion? Or do we have to make a motion for?
We
each
could,
set of
I believe
minutes?
we can make a motion to approve them all.
Okay,
And we can make any amendments to those once we've made them, once we make
Yeah.
the motion to
Okay.
approve, seconded, and then we can make any amendments if you guys want to do that. Just 1 second. Just gonna, if you don't mind, I think it's 7:24. I'm popping those meeting minutes. It was 7:24 or 7:14. Yeah, on the 8:14 meeting, we approved all the prior meetings.
okay,
So we have to go from 8:14 on, but we're missing one, so you're gonna
Yeah.
have to, in the motion, we would say the actual dates of the meeting minutes that you're approving.
okay. So I think, according to this email, I'll motion that we approve the minutes for August 14th, September 11th, September 25th, and October 9th. All of 2024.
I'll second.
Beautiful. Now, all we have to do is make sure that everybody the three of us were in attendance for every single one of those meetings. Because if you weren't in attendance,
That's true, then we couldn't
Right.
do it, and we wouldn't have
well,
quorum.
we could have a quorum, but it'd be really weird to not be, you know what I mean? One would abstain and then it would be a 2-. I think just be good for us to know if we were all there.
Yeah,
Because we don't want you to approve minutes you weren't here for.
Mike, you and I, all three of us were at August 14th, sorry.
Okay, I'll check the 25th while you check the 11th.
I think I have been to every
I have
meeting.
everybody here for the
I,
25th.
I came in late online for one of them,
Yeah.
but
All three of us were there for September 11th.
And the 9th, all three of us were there then.
Okay. Good.
Okay, is there any changes that anybody saw that you'd like to make to them? Well,
None.
hearing none, I'll have the vote. Signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye, there we go.
And I have no idea why we don't have minutes for the 28th. I don't know if that
That was
was
me.
that, you weren't there
No,
probably?
no.
Okay.
That was me just missing a
I
week.
just missed it. Okay.
Brain
Okay.
cramped because I had my notes here and it's probably one that I took notes on in paper
Okay.
versus my electronic
Okay.
tablet, so I
Okay.
just thought we might not have met. So I'll go back and get the 8/28 meeting minutes for the next, along with this one's. And I'll have it for the next one. So let's talk
Next meeting is January 8th.
January 8th.
Yep.
Do we want to talk about agendas? I think we're gonna have to talk about the OPM. RFP.
no,
I'm really hoping we'll have it.
I volunteered here on to make sure that we got an agenda
Yep.
to Duncan, so we could have meetings. Because Adam hasn't been to a meeting since.
Well, I'll do that moving forward as the vice chair. It's just I was away
Yeah,
and I didn't realize he was there. So moving forward, I'll prepare this agenda right now and I'll get it to Duncan
okay.
as what's gonna be posted
Yep.
for January, unless
Yeah, I mean,
within period of time before that, if we see a change that needs to happen, we would
Right.
adjust
okay,
the agenda.
okay, that's
So
fine.
that's, you'll be good with that. It's just I was away
Yeah,
and I thought
okay,
I
I
was
just-
doing it. I appreciate it.
We've missed,
Stepping
we've
in.
missed a couple of meetings because we didn't
Yeah.
get the agenda in and like we.
January.
There was something done.
We're gonna,
Hear about the project,
the OPM.
the OPM.
We're gonna hear about if, hopefully they might even have an RFP back. If they're able to put something out and have bids come back in first few days in January, we might have some
Yeah.
kind of clue. That's one thing. The other thing is we'll follow up and hear more about the doors, the RFP or the RFP for the doors. Because I think that's important too. I don't know personally how comfortable I am with spending $45,000 and going electronic on interior and exterior. I really thought we were looking at fixing the exterior doors and going electronic on exterior doors.
I was telling you there when you came in that I'd gone through the quote that they had done, and I can find it some for security for the door readers. Well, they had it came up to $15,000 exterior door, and around $30,000 is what Black River had quoted for those kind of security things. So the
Exterior,
num-
interior,
I
exterior.
don't think there's any interiors. I'm looking here. There's 15,000 for exterior door readers. Include and 15,000 more for. No, those are some different things. I guess it was only 15 for the actual readers.
See, that's where I'm concerned is $40,000 for interior and exterior. I don't know how much we need the interior compared to the
Yeah,
exterior.
they had
I
another
need, I
15
wanted
for
new
the,
doors and new security on the outside
Yeah.
of the building. That was the key for me, because I didn't know, what if people change offices? What if things
Right.
move around inside? Why would we go electronic inside when we don't know what the interior is gonna look like? We know we're always gonna have exterior doors.
Yeah.
And we know we do not plan on moving them.
Well, maybe we can go through those quotes and see if we can parse out the exterior versus the interior and say like, we'd only like you to do the work for exterior doors. We don't need an interior system at this point.
And my concern is that we can't move forward with exterior systems until we've replaced the exterior doors.
Right.
So it's a systems versus doors. Do we have a quote on replacing doors? And if that's what he's working with Acme on, then
yeah,
what does that number look like? And I think we're looking at keeping the main entrance door from Bridge Street.
Yeah.
I mean, those are old antique doors. I
Yeah.
think if we all agree with that. I mean, okay, beautiful. So it's just the doors downstairs. Let's replace them.
Yeah,
Don't fix those. Those are not worth fixing.
right, no, and I think those would be, I would maybe do something different than like the all glass panels down there too with.
Yeah.
You know, something that's non-shatterable. Secure.
I don't know, because I don't know about the light that it lets in.
Yeah.
I don't know about doing something different there. I'm a little torn with that.
Yeah.
Because if they shatter it, they've got to shatter the next one. And if we have cameras and it's something that's gonna let us know that it's been shattered,
So it'd be interesting to see what systems they have, what can they work with?
right? Right? So this questions are systems with types of doors,
Yeah.
right?
and I think they, you can put glass doors in that are.
Shatter resistant, shatter resistant.
Bulletproof and whatever you want to pay for. You know?
Probably for a price.
You know?
It's true. So we'll put that, we'll all look at, the stuff that
Yeah.
Duncan has provided on the doors and stuff like that.
That's a big proposal. There's like 58 pages in those documents, so.
Yeah.
On the agenda, it sounds like maybe we should check back in with Radiate and see if they've done any work with the chairlift.
Yes.
They asked at one point for some kind of steps going to the fire escape too, didn't they? I mean, they got a door where
Yeah, I
the
think
window
if
was,
you needed to, I think you have to go out one of those windows.
Yeah,
if
and then- but
was
there is a-
emergency down there.
but it is it used to be a window. I went and looked at it. It is actually a door that
Okay.
opens.
But you have to
But
climb
it's
up
in the
to it.
space where the window
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And I think there was a step ladder or something beside it, which is a little,
So, and we get into the issue also of the chairlift and emergency escapes and stuff like that, so we gotta really look at that. I think it's gonna, and I think that might be something for the OPM to help us guide us
Yeah,
with
because
that.
there's probably, like you said,
Yeah.
OSHA regulations and things that we have to be in compliance with.
So we can get an update from them on the chairlift information. So that we're ready when the OPM comes to say, is this something we can do? Is this something that they can
Yeah.
fundraise for? Is this something that they can pay for? And if it's something that can be installed and allow for both, people walking up and down the stairs, but also people using that chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it if it's
Yep.
everything that can be done. I have no
Sounds good.
problem with that. What else do you have? Anything else that we're gonna have meeting minutes? And if, as long as the three of us are here, we can approve tonight.
that's,
So we can
Public,
say,
welcome and public comment, which we.
Well, yeah,
forgot-
that's standard.
Forgot to do, and, I don't think, we can do a library report. I'm not sure there's any maintenance that's gonna happen between now and January 8th at this point. I think we're kind of in a lull right now, so, but. If there is anything.
I'm not sure if it's an agenda here. There some things that came out of the last meeting that I wanted to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that was it Art, I think.
this is the meeting that Art attended.
Yeah, Art
Okay.
attended.
Mhm.
I was a little concerned the way the conversation went, that basically we weren't gonna be doing anything other than maintenance issues on the building and so forth. I think there may be more than just the list of maintenance things that we need to do. And
I wanna
We
make
need
sure
to
I'm
look-
understanding. Are you talking about with the project that he's going to work on, or the fact that we're just doing some maintenance things now?
no, the project that we
Okay.
might be going
Okay.
forward with, it seemed like we were saying that we were just gonna do some maintenance items, and he mentioned once, since we weren't gonna do anything to the building, we wouldn't need to worry about the FEMA requirements and so forth.
I think he meant major remodel. We said we didn't wanna do a
Well,
major remodel like the $10 million
We
project.
don't, but there's a level of cost if we reach
Breach
half
that
the
level.
value of the building, we don't know what the value of the building is, but everybody says, well, we're going in with the $10 million one, we certainly would have. Although some of that is, the FEMA requirements, so you wouldn't think that the FEMA requirement, meeting those requirements would be
There's-
included in the threshold of it, but anyway. That was one thing, but there were a couple of things that he said that, one was that we needed to set a budget. And I kind of hesitated on that, but I agree with him, but I am not yet ready to pull a number out of the air. And put it down, so I've been working, I showed you some of it earlier on. I think we need to identify what we feel needs to be done. And
Can
then
I
try to
take-
put some kind of a,
Amy, put up the 10-9 meeting minutes just for a second.
Yeah.
I think the key that the piece that you're skipping is that he was going to have a study completed first.
yeah,
And because that is going to help us drive, knowing
Yeah.
what might need to be done to help drive a
We-
budget,
we
the
can,
necessities.
yeah, we can have that. I'm kind of conflicted on whether we need to do that or not, but we can. We've
believe it.
we have the Red Wolf proposal, we have Black River has done a study. And we've got this list of things here, so I think we have a pretty good idea of what needs to be done to the building. How to do it is another story. So I showed you a bit of what I think whether it's through this, maybe we do a study, but I'm not saying we don't need
It's
to.
called deferred maintenance study.
Yeah,
That's
Right.
what we were talking about, the maintenance. We need to have a handle
no, I
on the
don't
deferred
call it
maintenance
the
study.
deferred maintenance study, I don't like that word.
That's what they
because
call it. That's what the professionals
Well,
call it.
that's not what I want. You know,
Okay, what do you
because-
want? I wanna
okay.
hear what you want.
there's no fire escape on this floor of the building that's accessible. That's not deferred maintenance. That's a piece of that something needs to be done with this fire escape out here so that we don't have. to
There
throw-
is a fire escape out there.
Yes,
though.
and you'd have to throw a chair through the window to get to it.
Right, so that's a problem. That's deferred maintenance
No,
that
it's
nobody
not
maintains.
deferred maintenance.
Nobody maintains that.
That's a major change.
Okay,
That's one thing.
We differ in
But there
opinion.
are some that are deferred maintenance. The air conditioning system here is, so I understand, past its expected life expectancy, has freon in it that you can't hardly get anymore and so forth. That needs to be replaced. There's no ventilation coming into the building. The windows are drafty and Duncan has to tape things over his windows so it doesn't blow in on him. We've got holes through the foundation in the post office that just lets water well below the FEMA levels into that area that I suppose you could call that deferred maintenance, but it's gonna be a big job to fix any of that. There's some major things that I just don't think are deferred maintenance. And we need to be talking about those things, not just what's on this list.
So are you wanting like to sort of separate the maintenance projects from, like, we need to make a prioritized
I mean-
capital plan? Like, we need to look it up.
We have the plan that Black River gave us. They had this major thing. I don't think it needs to be that big, but we need to
But which
see what
parts
it
of that,
does, what does need to be done.
and which parts of that to pull out
Right,
and say we
and-
need to do.
and
what you've prepared
What
here,
I have done here.
would that be
I've done
helpful for us to do that? Look through
Right,
that?
exactly. That I took the breakdown that Black River did. This is theirs. I wish I could have manipulated that spreadsheet, but it was a PDF.
Yeah,
I
It's little tiny
retyped the whole thing. And I moved them around to group it into so we can see what
Okay.
things cost.
I'm gonna
for
hold
each one.
hold you up right here, Mike, because we can't get into what you did because it's not a warned agenda item.
know.
So we want to put it on as a warned
Well,
agenda item. So here's what I
okay.
want to ask. Can I put on Mike's presentation and discussion?
Absolutely.
Okay, or
And
that's what I
I-
want to do.
And I tried, when I put the agenda out, the original version of it, I wrote in there that I wanted to talk about the path forward and how we were gonna do it. And that got changed out of that agenda, so,
So let's,
That's
because
why.
I think it's confusion about what it is. I am totally open to Mike doing a presentation of what you've prepared and us walking through your thought process so we can understand what direction you want to go
right.
in.
Okay,
I think
fine.
that's
Fine, well, that-
wonderful.
It needs to be there then.
So that we aren't going in different, we might have a total agreement
Yeah.
on the direction you're going and we're just not communicating
Right.
clearly
I think,
with the same
Yeah.
vernacular.
we have,
Can you share this document with Duncan so he can put it on
I
the
can
website?
certainly do
Okay.
that. Cause I've gone through and without getting into the details of any of it.
No, but with a
There-
little
there-
paragraph on what you did, and if you,
Yeah.
this is you recategorizing the Black River
Right.
information to a format that was understandable for
Yeah.
you. Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful. Okay, so I'm putting that as an agenda item. I'm gonna take off the library update for
Yeah, I
right
don't
now.
think we'll need one
Well,
really.
you'll let us know when
Yeah.
we need to put it on an agenda item.
That's
So
fine.
right now, we've got 4 agenda item pieces. We've got the OPM update and RFP on that for the owner's project
Yeah.
manager. The RFP and talk about the exterior doors and what's going on with that. We've got the radiate chairlift, just an update if we have that. We have your presentation and then we'll end with meeting minutes.
yeah,
That will help us see what next step we are taking between the OPM and your presentation. We'll have a better view.
okay.
And I think there's some confusion about deferred maintenance and you're thinking it's smaller things. Deferred maintenance means new roofs.
Yeah, I
New
understand,
electrical systems.
that, but there's some things here that they weren't deferred because, I'm thinking the fire escape is the one which originally I kind of thought, well, maybe we can put in the door and get the original one there. I'm
Yeah.
Oh, no.
beginning to think that wasn't,
I'm 100% behind safety
Yeah.
items. That's my top priority and I've said that from day one. So
Okay.
that's a safety item.
although when you get into what they were planning out there, I don't think it has to be what they have
Right,
proposed. to-
yeah, I think, they were gonna build a little
On no
enclosed
house.
stairwell.
Yeah, well, it may have to be enclosed.
Yeah.
I can see a reason to
I think
be.
it was $400,000,
Well,
so.
yeah,
like
once
a
it's
whole house.
escalated up, it's more than that, it's over $500,000.
Yeah.
But, and that isn't what is in this document, it says 372, but when I look in here, it was 406 or something, so I don't know what,
So
maybe
thank you.
something changed.
Thank you for doing that classification in a more concise and a
Yeah.
more common sense
Right.
view.
And it comes out, where there's some things in here that, like, I really want to talk about the windows.
And we
And-
will. I
yeah.
agree with you.
And I think
And
we
I-
can do something much less than replace all, it doesn't make any sense to replace. the
And I
windows.
think that first agenda item things that we have going on aren't gonna take very
Right.
long, so
Yeah.
we're gonna have almost a full hour,
Yeah,
if not more, to have
mean,
your
we-
presentation and discussion.
we really haven't, we've been here for 6, 8 months, however long we've been going, we've never really talked about those kind of things. We've been talking about everything else, and
Yeah.
it's been pretty frustrating because that's why I joined the committee.
There you
Because I knew that the building needed some work, but I didn't need $9.8 million worth.
So the floor will be yours next meeting. We'll try to make sure everybody's here.
That's gonna be difficult.
Well, it'll be after the holidays, so
Yeah.
I think people will be on a new
Yeah, I understand
schedule.
they're
and
not
stuff.
gonna have a second one this month. It's comes on the 25th, and that's my birthday, so I guess they.
Well,
They probably taking it off, I guess.
So I apologize for the frustration you felt. I think the biggest thing for me is knowing what direction we should head with a professional.
Yeah,
That's why I was hesitant in making any, like,
Yeah.
where are we going and what's our next step? Because if we could have been headed this way and found out from a professional, you needed to go this way
Yeah.
first. And if the select board says we're not having a professional, then that changes what direction we head into.
yeah,
So I
Yeah.
appreciate you being patient.
right.
Sorry, we missed some meetings here in November. We're back on track. We got this agenda, I'll get it to Duncan, I'll follow up on those other items. I'll get the meeting minutes done, and we'll be ready for our meeting on January 8th.
Okay.
You get your presentation ready, little blurb about
I've
where,
been working on the presentation for 2 months here now.
so you're
but,
ready to go.
and we haven't had any meetings.
So you're ready to go. So
I thought we were gonna be 3 months, cause I was afraid we were gonna get flooded out tonight.
No. If you guys are good
Yeah.
to adjourn, does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn, and I'll cut us off, or
The motion, we adjourn.
Lisa,
want a second, Mike?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
turn it off.